The Hay Band Network.
Welcome to the Hey Band Network. Today we have a very special guest with us. This is Amanda Blackstone from Young Band Directors of Texas. She's the executive director. Welcome to the Hey Band Network.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So you've started this really great program. We're going to talk about today of YBDT. We're going to get into that. Before we do that, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself as a band director?
Sure. So going into this next year, I am now the head band director at Tippett Middle School in Georgetown ISD. This will be my first time as a head director. The past 5 years, I've been an assistant. I was in Southlake for a couple of years, and then I was in Hutto. So I'm really excited for this new challenge, and I know it'll be particularly challenging with coronavirus, but that's okay. Um, just a background before that, I went to Texas Tech and I was drum major there, loved it, would do it again if I could. And I grew up in El Paso, so I've actually kind of lived a lot of different places in Texas, which is nice because it means I know a lot of different people. So that's my background.
And somewhere along the line, you thought starting a group or an organization for young band directors would be a great idea. So tell us about how this idea of this group all started.
So YBDT actually started as a grad project for grad school. So I was in a class with Keith Dye, and it was a discussion-based class about the issues in Texas band music education. So very specific and small class. And we just kind of went around and around about the things that we saw in the Texas band culture that we might want to change or improve as time went on. And then at the end of the course, we were going to pick a final project. And the thing that just kept coming up for me was my friends are quitting. That was really the problem that was on my heart, was that people that I respected and looked up to and cared about were like one by one leaving the profession. And so I honed into that as my final project. And for the project itself, I like hypothetically outlined YBDT, what I would want it to be. And this was all just for school, and submitted it and thought, okay, done with that, I'm good. And then Dr. Dye was like, hey, so you know that organization you did for your project? Well, I called my friends at this place, this place, this place, and they're going to help you start it. So you have a meeting to talk to someone on the phone on Monday. And I was like, what? So I didn't even really have like a choice. I mean, I knew it was something that we needed, but just that extra little push of, hey, I'm going to get you connected with this person to actually make it happen. That's what got the ball rolling.
Yeah, and I've seen you interact with people that are involved in the state and things at different levels in the state of Texas. And it's very cool to see all the questions about it and the excitement that you and the organization, the people that help you out, have really got this thing just rolling and going. So how many years have you've actually had a YBDT?
So I started it in the summer of 2017. So it's still pretty young, but it has really ramped up in the last probably year. It's gone, it's exploded.
And so do you have a number of how many people are members?
Yeah, so our most recent list was 425-ish members, which is huge. I was telling our leadership team just the other day, I was like, okay, guys, I tend to think of it as like just 100 people. So you're going to have to help me to think a little bit bigger sometimes, because now it's 4 times that size. And it's really cool, especially adding the college division, kind of like reaching a little bit younger, has helped our numbers a lot, and it helps to bridge that gap. So that's been good for us.
Great. So if there's someone watching this is just hearing about YBDT or not sure, or maybe they, in the next few days, they think, oh, you know what, this is something I want to be a part of. How do they join? How do they become involved? How does it help them out?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, any young band director in Texas is welcome to join and encouraged. Like, the first thing I would tell that person is it's free. So we have all these things available to you for like no cost and very little effort, starting out. So the way to join is either our website, or you can also get to us through Facebook or Instagram very easily. So a lot of people find us through Facebook, and then we can send them to the official form, which is on the website. But the big why behind joining it is, even if you think you're perfect, you're going to get to a point where you're going to need some support. And we at YBDT, we believe that there's like a lot of different kinds of support that a young director needs. So like we really value a clinician, and we really value a mentor, someone who's maybe much more experienced than you, that like knows what they're doing to help you out. But we also know that there's value in having someone who's like in the same spot that you're in, just to bounce ideas off of, ask for help in like a really safe environment, because they're just figuring it out too. So you're gonna get to that point, we all do, where you're frustrated about something, or you're puzzled by a problem that you're hearing in your rehearsals, you don't know how to fix it. And YBDT gives you the stepping stones to like improve that part of your teaching. So maybe the first person you feel comfortable asking is your friend from college. Then they might get you connected with a mentor who's been teaching for forever, who can help you even more, and then they might lead you to a method book that's amazing. It's just kind of, YBDT is just getting people down that path of, okay, I need help. I need someone to talk to about this. I'm going to start with somewhere that I'm comfortable.
And so if I'm new into this, like how many years is a new teacher?
That's a great question. We've been asked at first when we started, I can't tell you how many people asked, like, well, am I considered young? And I'm kind of like, well, I don't know. Does your back hurt? But no, I mean, really, we're looking at, usually most of our members are in their first 10 years or so, and we kind of have two groups. So we've got those first year teachers, we've got those college seniors who are student teaching that are taking a lot from the organization, and then we've got our older members that are at their 8, 9, 10-year mark that are really giving a lot to the organization. So we kind of have both sides.
Yeah, and it's great. And you have there's a board, there's a regional people that help out. Kind of what is that part of the organization? Because I know people are getting involved, as you say, start giving back.
Yeah, so our leadership team has grown a lot. I mean, as the membership has grown, we've needed more feet on the ground to really just, just explore our mission as thoroughly as we can. So now we have the exec team, which has grown to like 8 or 9 people, and those are some of the big decision makers. I'm on the exec team, but we also have the regional team, which has about 2 people in each region, and then we have our college team that we've got 5 different campuses that we've got college reps at now too. So our leadership team has grown a lot, but I love having that as an opportunity for our members, because a lot of times when you come in, you start your job, you're an assistant, you might be on a big band staff, and you might have leadership qualities that you don't get to use on a regular basis because you are also working within this bigger program, and you're just trying to fit in as a team player as best you can. Well, then there's YBDT, where you can be a leader, you can make big decisions, and you can kind of like flex those muscles while you're building up your skills in your career. And so it just seems like a lot of people really enjoy being involved at that level. And I've been amazed at how many people are willing to just give their time and their service. They're not getting anything back besides experience and friends, but we have a really good time as a leadership team.
And that's great. That's really great and beneficial for young teachers. I mean, everybody's been a young teacher at some point in their career and remembers into the service that you're providing, and hey, you'll get through this, and we'll all get through this together, and that support's wonderful. So anything else on YBT? I'm gonna pick your brain a little bit on some tools that you've kind of picked up in the last few years and then this last spring. Anything else on YBDT you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, so I actually have some news that you're the first person to hear about it. You want to know what it is?
Yes.
Okay, so we are coming out with an advisor program, which is going to be pairing up first-year teachers, basically, with that more experienced group of our members. And it's going to be kind of like a buddy program, going to go through the whole year, providing support with pedagogy as well as like professional advice. And so we are really excited. That's been part of our plans for YBDT for forever, but we didn't really get to that point where we felt ready to launch. But this year we are going to. So we're going to have an advisor program available for application really soon, the next few weeks.
That's exciting. Very, very cool. And that's all within the group, correct?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're not a member, you can still apply. But yeah, it's like, okay, we've got this group of first-year teachers that really need some help. We've got these 9-10-year teachers that are willing to relate to, but also help these first-year teachers just kind of get going. And so we're just pairing people up, and that way first-year teachers have someone to call.
That's great. Really, really cool. So, all right, let's pick your band director brain a little bit. So you deal and you correspond and work with, and I'm sure talk with first, second, third year teachers all the time. So what are a few lessons that you've learned in the early years that you want to share with new teachers? We got a lot of people getting ready to start. What are some things, some advice maybe you would say, hey, here's a couple things to think about as you get ready to roll?
Oh, well, there's a lot, but I would say the biggest thing is don't be afraid to ask for help or just ask, period. So you might feel like, let's say I'm a flute player, so I might feel like, yeah, I can teach flute beginners, but I'm still going to find someone else who teaches them too and just ask them how they do it. Just tell me more about what you do, because I've learned so much in that process. And honestly, first few years, I was way too shy to ask people, and I missed out on like good connections and good lessons I had to learn later on by being too shy to ask.
That's great and so true. Just reach out and ask. So true. Great advice. And then, so obviously we're going into this, we're dealing with remote and online learning and virtual teaching in this aspect. So anything that you came across in the spring semester dealing with this that you were like, man, this was a great tool, a great thing that we did or you did to help you out in teaching students through a computer screen?
So I can't think of a specific example, but I liked when band directors started thinking way outside the box and just having fun competitions, fun, discussions with their middle school kids, particularly because I'm a middle school kid in my mind. But like scavenger hunts around their house and Kahoot competitions, all virtually. I love that. And I plan on using that because I don't even know my kids. And it sounds like I'm going to be meeting them virtually, which that's going to be tough to get that personality going on both sides. So I'm really planning on using some of those same strategies and being a little goofy with it just to start out the year.
That's great. Great advice. Any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, so I definitely want to shout out to the YBDT leadership. We have already started meeting this summer, and they are pushing me to go, way beyond what I ever imagined, and just like their time and their enthusiasm is amazing. So huge shout out to them.
Awesome. And for you to see you talk and your excitement for this and your enthusiasm for this organization, seeing it growing and do what it's done in the last couple of years. It's fun just to sit back and see a young band director building something that's taken off and really good. I know a lot of students or new teachers where I'm at, they love this thing and they're proud to be a part of the organization. And that says a lot to you and what you've done and what you created. So kudos to you for getting this thing rolling, help out a lot of new teachers.
Well, it's all thanks to people like you, honestly, because you guys actually heard about it and then said, hey, that's a good idea. So it's all about really the other band directors who have thought it's a good idea and have spread the word. Like, I owe everything to y'all. It helps so much.
Well, it's great. I mean, it's a great resource. So again, if you are new, there's a website. We're going to put the website, make sure it's on here so you can see that website so you can check it out and log on or jump on one of their social media platforms and see that and figure out how to join in and get their help. Just a great resource for any new teacher or first year teacher, or if you're from out of state and you're new to Texas, even better way to get involved being from out of state, coming to this wonderful world of band in the state of Texas. So Amanda Blackstone, I want to thank you very much for joining me on the Hey Band Network.
Thank you so much.